I've been thinking about how we live within this physical paradigm with five senses, and we take it very literally, and we seem to have little to no ability to see beyond our physical manifestation. And I suspect there is a veil over the other dimension, if there's only one other dimension. I have no idea. But it seems pretty obvious the older I get that this is a very temporary situation, that we are incarnated in the manifest paradigm, and we take it for granted. We actually take it literally. We think we are born and we think we die. I'm not so sure. I actually think we come into this particular way of being for soul growth. We are evidently given a lot of impediments to seeing beyond our personal stories, our physical being, our identities that we adapt to, we adopt when we are too young to question it. And then it becomes solid fact. It becomes our truth. And we're so convinced of it that we have a lot of grief when somebody passes on from this physical world, because we can't see where they went, and we miss them, and we know we're going there too, which is kind of scary, but we try not to think about that. Well, I think there's an intention here. I think that we probably agree to do this charade and discover that all of our beliefs, all of our senses that tell us our story is true, our identity is true, are actually not reliable informants. They're not good sources of information. So, our rationality, our belief systems, what we see and can touch and taste, are real on one level. But ultimately, we ourselves are more than that, different from that. We have merged with a human body and a human story in a certain culture, and we absorb that as our true self, our true situation. And it's kind of funny to come to the point where we start to realize this is just a stage set. This is just us actually constructing our own stage set completely unconsciously. We don't even know we've done it. And then we believe it without a shadow of a doubt. And that is the beginning, middle, and end of our story. And it's all a misconception. It's it's a framework, though, for some kind of soul growth, because within that paradigm, we have a drama. And very often that drama is tragic. We often have betrayals. We often have wounds. We, we have all kinds of things that seem incredibly important and deep. And we have pleasures, and we have wonderful tastes and smells and experiences all through the body, all through the senses. And we think that's it, that's life. That's what it's all about. I think probably that it's all about something else. I think it's all about soul growth. I think it's about realizing what is really important. And what is really important is our relatedness, our sensitivity, our ability to actually see and respond to what is going on inside us and around us, and to be part of it. We live in a culture that really believes in something called individuality, which is a concept of separation, a concept of being a separate entity that has a separate identity that works for its own welfare first. And you can live that story, that's a story, but there's another thing going on. There's so much dreaming. There's so much fantasy. There's so much misconceptions and assumptions about what is real and what isn't, that we hardly ever hit on the real thing. For somebody who is in the last chapter and looking off and saying, what has this story been about? And who am I really? These questions start to have some weight to them. And you start to think, I realize now I was testing myself to see if I could love. I was on this earth to see if I could live beyond the stories, beyond the images, beyond the self-interest, and find a meaning that connects to the whole cosmos, that connects to all living beings. You know, it's interesting that manifestation is from energy entities, little knots of energy. This is something quantum physics is still trying to explain, and it's really hard to grasp because what they have seen is it's possible to be non-solid and solid at the same time. So we see ourselves as solid beings with a real identity, and we have an appearance that we take for granted. We assume this is who we are, what we look like, what we sound like, who we're in the same family with, the same nationality with, the language and history we share with other people. All of that identity as much as we hate to think of it, is temporary. It's very brief. It's just a flash in the pan. And um, when you get to your 80s, maybe even your 70s or 60s, I don't know, I didn't. But now in my 80s, I realize how quickly it all goes. It's a very fast moving story, and you come up to this age and you suddenly realize, well, you've done it. Well, what have you done? You're not really sure what the whole thing has been about, and you have to ask yourself, okay, why did I do this? And did I actually have a hand in it? Did I create it to actually come to some deeper understanding, or was it just a lark? Um, these are questions I think we all have to entertain, and we do come to a point in our life where we ask, we do have to ask, what the hell has this been about? I mean, really about, and not just some kind of tour of the neighborhood, some kind of tour of the circus. It goes deeper than that. It actually is something that happens on the soul level. It happens mainly on the soul level. The things that happened on the physical level, they had a soul effect. They had an effect on the deeper self. And that's what's important. That's what will remain when everything else is gone. Don't you find this fascinating? I do.